When you talk about sharing, do you see a future where your customers amongst themselves share data?
I hope so. I hope so. What I really hope we see instead of sharing data, and we talked a little, I introduced myself the solutions team. And what the solutions team, it's a very high level word, but it just means that the Qlik, we have a lot of capabilities across this data integration and data analytics, but we're trying to focus on business outcomes. Historically, it's kind of like whatever your problem is, we can help you with that. But instead, looking at what are the specific outcomes we can use. And so, what I hope, less than sharing data, is more so sharing these solutions, sharing these business outcomes. A customer saying, hey, we did this thing with Qlik and ServiceNow and Claude, and it helped us do X, Y, and Z. And here's how another person or another organization could do the same thing. Their data is different, but a lot of what's going on behind the scenes is the same.
Those would be then like use case templates.
Exactly. Exactly. If you do it well, share it.
Well, let's talk about those. I think maybe that's a good way for us to sort of bring this conversation home for people. You are literally out there working with customers, working with people who are making this stuff, where literally in the case of like the NHS ambulances, where the rubber meets the road.
It's so cool.
Talk to us about some of the more interesting use cases where people have been able to use data analytics plus AI to build useful, really practical solutions.
Yep. So, there's such a wide range. And I'm going to forget so many of them now. I'm kind of been myopic in the last few months, and I've been focusing on the very sexy world of FinOps. Do you guys know what FinOps is? Okay, so for anybody who doesn't know what FinOps is, it's cloud financial management. I'm sure this is not what you were running towards, but we have customers. Cloud financial management is cool because everybody's doing it. Every organization, probably, even if you're in the government, you've got stuff going on in the cloud. You've got costs and they are running rampant. And so we have customers that are using, we won't even talk about what Qlik is doing, but customers who are bringing in all of that data and now kind of putting it in one place and then building dashboards on top of it and putting, let's call it even anomaly detection. We have something called Qlik Discovery, but it's essentially anomaly detection on top. And I had an internal example. We had a team that, we run our own cloud warehouse and it costs us money on AWS. And our team noticed that every time we reloaded, there was a huge spike in costs. And so they went to the bottom of it. It turned out some technical solution behind the scenes, but they were able to identify it because of all the data coming together and found that they could save 90% on the costs of that reload, which, correct me if I'm wrong, team out there, but I believe that it was about $300,000 a year, which is pretty hefty savings. So that's one example. We are doing things with the UN on the climate crisis. So they're tracking emissions and basically coming out of the Paris Agreement, tracking emissions for different countries to see how everybody's doing and how they are forecasting true to form. Some are good, some are bad, some are no longer in part.
Well, I honestly expected there to be something involving furry animals. Come on.
I'm trying to think if we've done anything with furry animals. I was walking around the show floor and there were some stuffies, but I need to work on my furry animal examples.
After your introduction.
Yeah, there's got to be like some cool agriculture. Next time you bring me back, I'll come back with that one.
Right. We'll keep that. So, I know that FinOps is probably the second most sexy application of data and analytics. Talk to us about something. Like I said, we literally have NHS ambulance service predicting on times, rescuing people's lives. Talk to me about something else as well. Yeah, what else you got?
So a big one that we're seeing is predictive maintenance. We're seeing that on factory floors. You are a car company and you are building out cars and you're looking at predictive maintenance in two different ways. You're looking at it, one, you want to make sure that on the factory floor, all of your machines are working and that you're able to get in there proactively and fix, a spot along the work floor before a piece of machinery goes down and halts the entire kind of supply chain there, production floor. On the flip side, let's say you are a car rental company and you want to know how often your vehicles need to be brought in for maintenance. And so one of the kind of big use cases that we're seeing is predictive maintenance. If you're that rental company, you want to drive that car or that van all the way to the very end of where it's going to go and then get it fixed. And so we're helping organizations do that as well.